I just hit a £100,000 investment portfolio on Trading 212. I did start off with just £600, and today I'm going to share my step-by-step plan that allowed me to achieve this. But full transparency, I did make some mistakes along the way, and that journey to six figures was far from perfect. Let me take you back to March 2020. I opened a brand new stocks and shares ISA account with Trading 212 with £0 in my account. But I had one goal in mind, and that was to outperform the S&P 500. Because in my mind, it would accelerate my portfolio to £100,000 much quicker. It was a bold idea, I must admit, given that I'm no investment banker, and statistically speaking, 90% of active fund managers fail to beat their benchmark index. But as a slightly naive, perhaps overconfident 24-year-old, I thought I'd give it a crack anyway. To do this, let me share with you the first step in the plan, which was to pick individual stocks. And for a while, it was working, and I mean like really working. I'd picked up positions in companies like Apple, Amazon, Tesla, AMD, and a few others, and by the end of the year, my portfolio was valued at over £8,000. It was at this point my confidence was sky high, and I remember it just like yesterday where I bought 10 shares in Palantir just after they IPO'd at $25.53 a share, and by January, I was up over 50%. Now, I think at the time, I probably must have felt like the next Warren Buffett or something, but blinded by this, I thought I would just add one more growth stock to my investment portfolio, obviously in the hope that it would perform extremely well. But this was the start of my own downfall, when I invested in a company called Tattooed Chef.
Tattooed Chef.
Tattooed Chef.
Tattooed Chef.
Tattooed Chef.
Tattooed Chef.
It was a plant-based business that at the time was all the rage, and in my mind I thought must be a hit. So I made a bunch of investments. It ended up totaling £1,000 of my hard-earned money, which I'd put into this stock, only for it to go on to crash 80%, and at the time that I exited, I ended up with a total loss of £735 in late 2022. But at least I got 289 odd quid back, because if I'd left it a little longer, I would have got nothing, because the company later went on to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and the stock went to zero. It was at this moment where the market humbled me. I'd lost a chunk of my confidence, and it was at this moment that I kind of thought perhaps individual stock picking isn't the best approach for me personally. So as a result of that, I went on to make a decision and decided to make a change to my plan. Instead of trying to find the next big thing, I decided to buy the whole thing. The S&P 500 made the most sense to me as a place to start. It's a fund that tracks 500 of the biggest companies in America, essentially a basket of the most dominant companies on the planet, all in one single investment. And historically, it's returned an average of around 11.5% per year over the last 24 years. Less risk and more diversification, and I didn't really have to worry about being right about a single stock ever again. So that was step one of my plan, which I had to update. But the next part of the plan is probably one of the most important things I'm going to share with you today, because it doesn't really matter if you're the next Warren Buffett. If you're only investing £25 per month into any stock or into the stock market more broadly, it's gonna take you forever to get to a £100,000 investment portfolio. So for me, that's where step two of the plan really came into play. That being a commitment to contribution inflation. Let me just explain this one, because you've all probably heard of the concept of lifestyle inflation, when you get a pay rise, so then you use that extra money to buy a nicer car, nicer house potentially, nicer holidays, nicer clothes, and all that good stuff. And as a result, you don't end up ever really getting ahead financially, and your bank balance kind of just stays the same. In truth, it's the reason why so many people feel like they're on some kind of financial treadmill struggling to get ahead. And if I was ever going to achieve this £100,000 investment portfolio, then I absolutely needed to make sure that my expenses didn't creep up. But that's not always been easy.
This is from the BOE just moments ago. 25 basis point hike from 5% to 5.25.
Let's have a look at how petrol prices are doing. Well, latest figures show the average price of petrol has risen once again.
I'm afraid it is yet more terrible news. Another really big jump in the rate of inflation to 10.1%.
Between 2022 and 2023, a lot happened. Higher inflation meant that things like food and bills were becoming ever more expensive as the inflation rate peaked at 11.1%. And after the Bank of England base rate went up to 5.25%, my mortgage payments jumped by an extra £400 a month. Due to this, between 2022 and 2023, it meant that my monthly investments were stuck in and around that £600 a month mark. Which, don't get me wrong, was still a lot of money to be investing, but it didn't quite mean that I was honouring the plan that I had in place. But by 2024, the pressure did start to ease a little bit, so I upped it to £700 a month. In 2025, I got up to £975 a month as an average, and in 2026 so far, I've been doing £1,000 a month. Ideally, I'd love to be investing more. I'd love to fill my stocks and shares ISA allowance one day, but it's not going to happen this year because I've just had a baby, and well, perhaps I didn't quite realise how expensive nappies and all of those kinds of things were going to be. But the reason why I found it very important to commit to that contribution inflation is because of the impact that I knew it would have on how long it would take me to actually achieve that £100,000 portfolio. Let me share with you the numbers behind it. At £600 a month, assuming a 9% annual return, it would take 9 years and 1 month to hit 100 grand. At £700 a month, 8 years and 2 months. Nearly a whole year saved just from investing an extra £100. Now, when you put it like that, it becomes quite a straightforward decision. But when I upped it to £1,000 a month, this is where it gets interesting, because it only took 6 years and 3 months. That's nearly 3 years off my timeline from investing an extra £400 per month. But where I find all of this really interesting is not when we just look at it from a time horizon perspective, but also when we look at it from a total portfolio value perspective, is say we were to do these contributions over a 10-year period. Let me share with you the actual portfolio values based on those monthly contributions that we've discussed. Here you can see the difference between £600 a month and £1,000 a month is 77 grand more over 10 years, or roughly 66% in additional portfolio value. So when the nicer car or holiday upgrade is calling, this is what I'd always come back to. Not as a way of never enjoying the money that I earn. I don't want this to come across like all I do is scurry all of my money away into my investment portfolio. But hopefully it does still show the importance of that contribution inflation and the impact that it can have over time. Because in truth, it's probably the single most important financial decision that I've made through my 6-year investing journey. Now, on the topic of growing my wealth with Trading 212, Trading 212 are currently offering all new customers 1 free fractional share valued up to £100 when you click on the QR code up here on screen, or if you click on the link down in the description below and open an account. Alternatively, if you have opened an account within the past 10 days, you can use the promo code Mitch. Just make sure that you've deposited £1 into your account and you'll still qualify for that free fractional share. Okay, now let's lean into step 3 of the plan, which sounds simple, but I promise you it really isn't. And that plan is to stay obsessively consistent. And one of the best examples that I can give you as to why consistency matters has nothing to do with investing at all. In 2003, the British cycling team appointed a new performance director called Dave Brailsford. And at the time, British cyclists hadn't won an Olympic gold medal in over 100 years, and they'd never won the Tour de France. Now, Brailsford's strategy wasn't a hot new training tip or some kind of secret that would boost performance, and instead it's something which he called the aggregation of marginal gains. It was the idea that if you improved every area of cycling by just 1%, those tiny gains would compound to something remarkable over time. From the pillows that the riders slept on to even how they washed their hands, through to the weight of the tyres. Sounds oddly specific, but between 2007 and 2017, British cyclists won 178 world championships, 66 Olympic gold medals, and the Tour de France. No single 1% change won them anything. It was the compound effect of all of these small marginal gains that really added up over time. And investing every single month kind of works in the same way. For me, no single contribution feels like it's moving the needle substantially. And how much you invest each month isn't the be all and end all, but let's just take £500 a month and you invest month in and month out and do so for, say, 5, 10, even 20 years perhaps. You would end up somewhere that would have felt completely out of reach at the start. And look, it's not always been easy because on some months things can go entirely against you. Let me take you back to February 2025, where Trump decided to announce sweeping tariffs. Markets dropped around 17% in just a few weeks, and my portfolio was falling by thousands of pounds in real time. Now, you'd think every instinct would tell me to wait, don't invest now because things might just get worse, but instead I went against the grain and I invested £1,700. almost double my usual contributions, not because I knew that the stock market was going to recover, nobody knows what's going to happen in the stock market, but it's because of what 6 years of consistent monthly investing had taught me, which is difficult to kind of learn in any other way. And that's that the months that feel the worst to invest in tend to be the most important. Brailsford Cyclist didn't take rest days on the days that training felt hardest, and I wasn't going to stop investing the month that the market went on sale. Consistency isn't just about showing up when things are easy and markets are at all-time highs, and instead it's about the discipline to continue to invest even when things feel like they're going against you. And that leads me on to step 4 of the plan, which is to review and rebalance periodically. Here's the thing that nobody will tell you when you get started investing. The plan you have at the start most likely won't be the same as when you finish. Across my 6 years of investing, my personal circumstances have changed, my risk appetite has changed, and therefore I've had to tweak and change and evolve my plan over time. That's why this step in the plan is so important, because it's not about obsessively checking your investment portfolio every single day, and instead it's about having a deliberate moment in time, perhaps once or twice a year, to ask yourself one very simple question, which is this still right? I tried to do mine at the start of the year, and actually in 2025 and 2026, I made some significant changes to my investment portfolio. Let me share those with you. It was largely because US markets had been at peak valuations, there was a lot of geopolitical uncertainty, and because my portfolio was 100% allocated to the US stock market, I decided I needed a little bit more diversification. In 2025, I sold just over £5,000 worth of individual stocks, reducing my concentration in single companies, and I reallocated that capital over to a FTSE all-world fund. And in 2026, I did basically the same thing. This year, I sold nearly £7,000 worth of individual stocks for the very same reason. I banked some profits along the way, the equivalent to over £8,000 worth, which my portfolio is currently showing, and then I reallocated and collectively reduced my risk. I did this by building a position in the FTSE All-World Index, which gives me additional exposure to Europe, Asia, Japan, and beyond, rather than doubling down further in the US. Now don't get me wrong, there is some duplication here, and my portfolio still has meaningful exposure to the US stock market. And in actual fact, the all-world fund itself is 60% weighted towards America. And that's because that's where the world's largest companies are listed. But even so, with my portfolio the way it is now, I've gone from a 100% US exposure to now about 90% US exposure, with over £10,000 in exposure to the rest of the world, which is £10,000 more than I had at the start of 2025. And all of those changes came from a periodic review and rebalance of my investment portfolio. So I would encourage you to ask yourself that question, is this still right for me, based on perhaps a drifting asset allocation, perhaps a change in your own personal circumstances, or even a change to your risk appetite as you get older? And I won't hesitate to say that the plan and the strategy to get me to the first £100,000 might not exactly be the same to get me to the next milestone, but I guess you'll have to subscribe to the channel to see what tweaks and changes I make along the way. In terms of where that next milestone will be, well, I think it would be absolutely class to have a £200,000 investment portfolio, and where my contributions are right now, I think getting to the next £100,000 will actually be far quicker than how long it took me to get to the first. But if you've watched this video and are now thinking about getting started investing, perhaps you've got a plan in mind, strategy in place, and thinking how much could you invest each month, actually the best starting point is understanding how to actually use the platform. So I've created a full step-by-step tutorial on how to use Trading 2 on 2, which you can click on here next. With that being said, I'll see you over in the next one.